Hi, and welcome to the Wayne County Probate Court. This video will guide you in filling out the petition for appointment of guardian, individual with alleged developmental disability, form PC 658. Before we get started, this video is not legal advice and is for informational purposes only. For questions specific to your situation, you need to seek legal advice. Let's pull up the form from the Wayne County Probate Court website, www.wcpc.us. When you get to the homepage in the upper middle, there's probate information link. Click that. On the left, there's a link that says how to start a Wayne County probate case. When you click on that link, it brings you to the various case types that you can start with the Wayne County Probate Court. We are looking for guardianship for an individual with a developmental disability. When you click on the link, you see a lot of great information here, including a number for DWIN, as well as information and documents you may need in order to file the petition, and then the forms necessary to file the petition and start the case. Then as you scroll down, you see a filing fee, hearing date information, and letters of guardianship. But let's pull up the form. And a little note here on the website, DWIN will provide assistance in almost all cases with preparing the form. So in addition to this video, you may want to call DWIN with the number right here, which is 313-833-2500. When we click on the link to form PC 658, it brings up the form, which you can begin to fill out right on your computer. I have an annotated one, which will help in filling out the form. And as you can see in the upper left, you want to put the Wayne County. And then on the right, if this is the initial filing and there is no case number assigned and no judge, you will leave this blank. A case number and judge will be assigned once the petition is processed with the court. Then you'll put the court address, telephone number, then first, middle, and last name goes in A. This is the person over whom a guardianship is sought. Now I highlighted in red here, and I want to bring your attention down at the bottom of the form. There is a green bar that you can click on. And in fact, I'm going to do it on this one. And when you click on the link, it'll direct you to a new page, and it has little instructions for each of the marked paragraphs in the form. And you can use this as a guide to help you fill out the form as well. For B, you'll put in the petitioner's name. If you're filling out the petition and submitted it, you are the petitioner. Name, address, phone number. If there is an attorney, they must include their information here. An attorney is not required. And if there is no attorney involved, you will simply leave this box blank. Moving on to C, the individual named above, meaning the proposed ward in A is aged, you put the age, and is a resident of, you'll put the county, and presently lives at or with. If it's an individual, you're going to put the name of the individual as well as their address and telephone number. If it is some sort of facility or center, you're going to put the name of the center, the address of the center, and the phone number of the center. Then put the date of birth. You'll see a reference to MC97, which is a separate form. It's requiring you to fill in the date of birth in box 1 on MC97. So do not put it on this petition. If you put it on the petition, it will be rejected because it must be on form MC97. Also, this form is a public document and anyone can view it once it's filed. However, MC97 is a private document and contains important personal information which should be protected from the public view. Same with the last 4 of the Social Security number. Do not white this out or print over it, the Social Security number, leave it blank, and then put it in box 2 on MC97. Then if this applies to you, check the box. It says the individual is a citizen of the following foreign country. And just as an example, I can put Mexico here. If it does not apply to you, don't check the box and leave it blank. Moving on to number 2, which is item D. His or her presumptive heirs are as follows. This is referencing the proposed ward, person over whom a guardianship is sought. And it says attach additional page if needed. I recommend that if you do a blank page, you title it attachment to number 2 on petition PC 658. So when you file it, the hardworking folks at the counter know what the page belongs to. Then you'll put in the presumptive heirs of the proposed ward, the age, the relationship, the address, and telephone number. And do this for all of the presumptive heirs. Very important that they are all listed here. Once that's done, moving on to 3 or E. If this applies to you, you will check the box. If not, you will not check the box and leave it blank. It says an action within the jurisdiction of the family division of circuit court involving the family or family members of the individual has been previously filed in, you'll put the court, you'll identify the case number here, and was assigned to judge, you'll put the judge's name, and either remains or is no longer pending. So if it's not pending, the case is closed, check the second box. If it's still pending, you'll check the first box. Then also you'll see at the bottom of the page, there are references to statutes. In this case, MCL 330.1100A. You can do a internet search of this section reference number and read that section. Anytime on any form you see references to a statute or the court rules, you're going to want to access those via the internet and read those because they will also explain the law to you. Moving on to page 2, number 4. It says you'll put in your name if you're the petitioner, am interested in this matter and make this petition as, you'll state your relationship to the proposed ward. Moving on to number 5, a report and evaluation required by law accompanies or does not accompany the petition. You're going to want to check the appropriate box. Then moving on to number 6, the individual has a developmental disability described as a severe chronic condition that meets all the following. 1, is attributable to a mental or physical impairment or a combination of mental and physical impairments. It was manifested before the individual was 22 years old. It is likely to continue indefinitely, and it results in substantial functional limitations in major life activities of a minimum of 3 of the following options must apply and be checked. Self-care, mobility, economic self-sufficiency, receptive and expressive language, self-direction, learning, capacity for independent living, and it reflects the individual's need for a combination of sequence of special, interdisciplinary, or generic care, treatment, or other services that are lifelong or for an extended duration and are individually planned and coordinated. So section 6 is a mouthful, but you simply need to read it, check the appropriate limitations that apply to the proposed ward, and then you can move on to number 7. The specific nature and extent of the disability is. You're going to maybe, if there's a diagnosis, put the diagnosis and state the specific nature and extent of the disability. This is important because it helps the court understand the condition of the proposed ward. Moving on to 8, letter J. A guardian is needed to assist the individual with the following responsibilities and duties. You're going to list what the individual needs help with. Moving on to number 9, which is K. The estimated value of the individual's estate and income are. You're going to put 0 if there's no asset, and fill out the personal yearly income, the personal property value. It can be an estimate, doesn't have to be exact, but try to get as close as possible. And then the source of the income as well. Now, you've finished the information section, and now you are making the request to the court. In number 10, I request that if a report does not accompany this petition, the court order evaluations to be performed and a report to be prepared. The court determines that the individual requires guardianship as an individual with a developmental disability. Number 12, you're also requesting the court determine and appoint. You're going to name the person over who will be the guardian over the proposed ward, their address and telephone number. If you're the petitioner, most likely it's going to be you, or appoint some other suitable individual or entity as. Then you're going to check either A or B. A is plenary, which is also called a full guardian, meaning that the guardian will have complete control over decisions of the ward. In other words, the ward will lose all of their legal rights to make decisions for themselves. Or B, partial guardian of the individual or estate with the following powers. So if you mark B, you need to include which powers the partial guardian will have. If you don't mark B and you want a full, you'll simply check A and then check either individual or estate or both. And finally, don't forget the very last checkbox at the bottom of page 2. The proposed guardian is a current service provider. No other individual or agency is suitable to serve as guardian. If this applies to you, you'll check the box. Otherwise, leave it blank. Moving on to page 3 and continuing your requests to the court. In 13, also M, the court, you request that the court authorize the guardian to execute an application for admission to, if so there's some sort of facility, you're going to name the facility, the and the address. If this does not apply to you, do not check box 13 and simply leave it blank. Moving on to 14, which is N. Pending the appointment of a guardian, the court appoint a temporary guardian or exercise its emergency powers because you're going to want to describe as specific as possible the reasons for needing a temporary guardian. If this does not apply to you, then just do not check box 14 and you can leave it blank. Finally, number 15. If this applies to you, you're going to check box 15. The court appoint, you're going to name someone, put their address and telephone number as standby guardian. Finally, you're going to read the sentence here. It says, I declare under the penalties of perjury that this petition has been examined by me and that its contents are true to the best of my information, knowledge, and belief. If that is true, you're going to date and sign. E-signatures are acceptable. If there is an attorney involved, they must sign too. They will date and sign. Again, no attorney is required, but if one is involved, they must sign the document. So that is how you fill out the petition. Thank you for listening to this video. We here at the Wayne County Probate Court put this video together because we care. Have a great day.